Hola, clase. Today we're going to learn how to conjugate verbs in Spanish. We conjugate verbs in English too. It can be a little bit different in Spanish. Are you ready? Vámonos! Here are some things that we'll cover in today's video. I'll tell you what subject pronouns are. We'll talk about what infinitives are. And then we'll go on to conjugate regular AR verbs. We have subject pronouns in English. The subject of a sentence is just the person or the thing who's doing something in a sentence. And here's how we set them up in English. I, you, he, she, and it, we, you, which is really you all, and they. There are equivalents in Spanish too. This is what the subject pronouns look like in Spanish. Now, sometimes when you're in a Spanish class or another foreign language class, you'll hear terms like first person singular or third person plural. Let me start by telling you how this chart relates to that. So this is first, second, and third person. First, second, and third person. It's no more exciting than the fact that the first person is the one that got written first on the chart. And this is the singular side. This is the plural side. That kind of makes sense too, because yo, I, there's just one of me. But we, that's me plus somebody else, or maybe more than one person, that's plural. So in the class, you'll hear things like first person singular, that's this one. Second person singular, third person singular, first person plural, second person plural, third person plural. Let's talk for a second about the word pronouns. Pronoun is just a short substitute word for something longer. So, yo in Spanish, or I, is a shorter way of saying Profesora Rodriguez. She in English, or ella in Spanish, is a much shorter way of saying my best friend's cousin. They is a much shorter way of saying my best friend, cousin, and her neighbor. So that's all that a pronoun is, just a short little version of a longer person. These Spanish subject pronouns have equivalents in English. Yo is equivalent to I. Tú is equivalent to you when we're being familiar. Friends or family, for example. Él means he. Ella means she. Usted means you. You might be asking yourself, you already said that tú is you. Well, usted is you too. It's when we are being formal. Somebody you want to show respect. Someone who's older than you are. Someone that's in a professional relationship with you. Nosotros and nosotras both mean we. What's the difference? Nosotras is for an all-female group. We're all girls. Nosotros is for an all-male group, or if the group is mixed gender. Vosotros and vosotras mean you all. It's mostly used in Spain. We're not going to pretend that it doesn't exist in class, but we're really not going to use it too much. Ellos and ellas both mean they. And the system here is pretty much like it was with nosotros and nosotras. Ellas means they, and they're all girls. Ellos means they, and either they're all guys or it's a mixed gender group. Ustedes means you all. And this is the one that we're going to really use in class. Now that we have subject pronouns, they're the ones who do the verb, let's learn how to conjugate verbs. We'll look at it in English first. We're going to start with what's called an infinitive. The infinitive is the basic form that you find in a dictionary. An infinitive is actually a pretty good name for it because it's got an infinite number of possibilities. Anybody can be doing the verb. Let's take the verb to talk. Anyone can talk. I can talk. You can talk. Maybe your dog can talk. We can talk in the future. We can talk in the past. So that's why infinitive is a pretty good name. In English, an infinitive like talk actually has two parts. The infinitive in English is to talk. And the way that we conjugate in English is to get rid of the infinitive marker. That's the to at the beginning. The infinitive marker has the job of saying, hello, I'm an infinitive. We're going to make that go away. And then after that, we have to worry about endings. English endings are really easy. People who are learning verbs in English have a really easy time because the ending for the yo form is nothing. And it's zip for the u form. We have an ending for he, she, and it, and that's the letter S. For we, it's nada. For you all, it's zippo. And for they, it's nothing. So it's really pretty easy in English to conjugate verbs. English has other problems. You know about them, like spelling, right? So to conjugate for I, you would say, I talk with no ending. You talk with no ending. He talks. She talks. Right? And maybe your dog, it talks. That's how we conjugate in English. Pretty easy. Let's take a look at Spanish. It's a little bit more complicated, but I know you can do it. Let's conjugate verbs in Spanish now. We have to start by talking about the fact that the infinitive in Spanish is built differently than an infinitive is in English. In English, an infinitive has two words, to plus whatever it is that we think of as the verb. In Spanish, they're all rolled into one. So if we have something like to talk, hablar, you have this part, that's the talking part, that's what's called the lexeme for grammar heads and linguistic heads. And then you have the infinitive marker, the AR, at the end. So it's all one chunk. There's other kinds of verbs in Spanish too, ER verbs and IR verbs, but that's a video for another day. So to conjugate these, we're pretty much going to do what we did in English, which is start by removing the infinitive marker, the part that says, hello, I'm an infinitive. But in English, when you do that, you're left with a real word, like in the last slide we saw was talk. But hablo in Spanish isn't a real word all by itself. In fact, it's even kind of hard to say. Until you put the endings on, it doesn't turn back into a real word. And here are the endings. For yo, it's o. For tú, as. Él, ella, and usted share an ending. It's a. Nosotros and nosotras share an ending. Amos. Vosotros and vosotras. Ais. It's an accent. Ellos, ellas, and ustedes. An. So now we have to stick things together, just like we did in English, although we have more endings to deal with here. So to say I speak, or I talk, yo hablo. Yo hablo. Tú and then we add this, as, to make one word, hablas. Let's go ahead and say all of them with me. Yo hablo. Tú hablas. Él habla. Ella habla. Usted habla. Nosotros hablamos. Nosotras hablamos. Vosotros habláis. Vosotras habláis. Ellos hablan. Ellas hablan. Ustedes hablan. So these are really important endings that you should know for class. O, as, a, amos, and an. We're not going to use this one too much in class. Okay, that's all we need to do to conjugate verbs. We'll practice this a lot in class. Bueno, clase. Adiós. Hasta la próxima.